do so at this time. We are lining the sidewalk in front of the building. Thank you.
Okay, so now what we have going on, not a chance. Now what we have going on is obviously a test that's going to be taking place Wednesday, and if we're out at the line, as much as I believe in supporting ALS, and I think it's awesome to support
And
it.
my grandma died of ALS.
Yeah, it's vicious. It's an ugly, horrible disease. But my immediate concern is any kid in this class who has a borderline average and making sure that their grade for this Friday helps their grade pass for the year. So, solve each of the following equations for the variable. Look, we have been doing the same exact lesson with the numbers changed for the last 3 days. So I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly, a little less teaching, and just to confirm that you're doing everything the right way, okay? So I'm going to act as if anything that we do on this first 3 questions of the do it, and then also on the combining like terms questions, is more or less fine-tuning, not heavy construction, okay? So, let's see here. Letter A, we want to do a little bit of work here, solve each of equations for the variable. And is this the same side situation or an opposite side situation? Opposite side. So I do opposite operation, always beginning with the smallest one. So I'm going to add 3n to both sides. That gives me 6n minus 8 equals 4, die. Add the 8 to both sides. 6n, die, equals 12. Divide by 6, n equals 2. Okay, and that should be, in all honesty, a very routine question. I would hope that everybody in the class got that right, and that you look at it like, oh man. Well, let me ask you, how many people here hope that their final exam has nothing but questions like that on it? That's it? Only 3/4 of the class? You don't all want, Gabby, you don't want all questions like that? You should be like, oh yeah, I got it right. I'm gonna get 100. I'm getting 100. I see your ice cream. Wow. Well, don't you like ice cream?
Only my flavors.
Now, the bottom line is, this should be easy, predictable, and you should be happy.
I'm not.
When
I'm
you see it.
overexhausted.
Next, same side, opposite side again. Minus the a this time. 7a minus 14 is 21. Add 14 to both sides. 7a is 35, die, dividing by 7. a equals 5. Now I know for an absolute fact that I think all of you, well no, some of you might have Mr. Began. Everybody have Mr. Began last year? Okay, so all you had Mr. Frank, and I know Mr. Frank is outstanding at teaching this stuff. Plus, we did a bunch of this stuff early in the year. So between all the work you did in 7th grade and all the work you did in 8th grade, these questions they're very comfortable. They're not, you don't panic, you don't have any sense of dread when you see them. Distribute here, 2x minus 8 plus 3x minus 2 equals 4 minus 2x. And as much as this looks longer, it should not look complicated to you. First, I got to do same side here. 2x's and 3x's is 5x's. Negative 8 and negative 2 is minus 10 equals 4 minus 2x. Next, I'm going to add 2x to both sides because I've gotten to the point where it's opposite side. So I get 7x minus 10 equals 4 plus 10. 7x equals 14. Divide by 7. X equals 2. Okay. Any question about that? Okay. Now, I said to you guys, whenever you get a word problem like number 2, I would strongly suggest changing it to regular numbers, do it in regular numbers, see what operation it is, and then go back and do it with scientific notation. So let's change this to a bucket of water contains 5 molecules, and there's 3 buckets of water. You have 5 molecules in a bucket, and each bucket has, and you have 3 buckets. How many molecules do you have altogether? How many?
15
How did you get 15 out of 5 and 3?
by 10.
Multiply, good. So I'm gonna do 5 times 10 to the 8th, times, now 300 I'm gonna rewrite in scientific notation because it's so easy to multiply in scientific notation. 3 times 10 to the 2, right? And then if I multiply them, I get 15 times 10 to the 10. But what's the problem? Eric? It's not scientific notation. Good, so I gotta divide by 10. So I'll multiply by 10 and I get 1.5 times 10 to the 11. For my own edification, how many people got that right? How many people got 1.5 times 10 to the 11? I see 5 hands, 6 hands. Did you get it right? What'd you do? You added, okay. Talia, what'd you do? That's that cartoon where the steam comes out of the head. What about you?
I turn it into like the regular form.
Yeah, you don't want to do that because it's a multiplication. Addition, you turn it into the regular form. Now, I can tell you that on your final exam, in fact, I think on the final exam of every student in the state of New York, there's one where you're going to have to multiply and then convert. It's just such a common thing. It's such an important thing to get out of this grade. Okay? Any questions about that? All right. So now, let's go to the next kind of question here. And they are combining like terms questions. I would like you to do all 5 of these questions, and then I will show you the correct answers in just a minute, okay?
I'm going to sleep.
As long as you're done. I gotta take attendance very quickly.
You definitely know what I'll do.
All right, and then here we go. Another 2 minutes or so, guys, even less. Under a minute. Okay, let's go through these. And once through, I think that you will be able to start your homework and make sure you get it all done. You know, this particular time of year, I just want to mention one thing. It is often the case that if a student fails close at the end of the year, and with like say a 62 or 63 or a 64 average, they'll look at the teacher and they'll say, "Oh, come on, can't you just give me 2 points, 3 points, please, 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 just give it to me." And then I say to myself, what I'll do at a time like that is I'll look at the homework record and I'll look at quiz records and I'll see, did the quizzes improve? Does it look like they tried to study to get better at quizzes? And then I'll look at the homework and I'll say, did they do their homework? And if I look and I see that you did not do your homework, my response to you is, couldn't you have just done your homework? If it was really that important to you to pass, couldn't you have done your homework every day? And now, all of a sudden, the consequences of not doing homework is that you'll fail, and you want me to change the situation when you had the power, by just doing your homework, to change the situation before it ever occurred. So don't expect me to change the grade if you haven't worked hard. I do expect you to work hard during the course of the year. I think it's foolish. If I was a lazy teacher and I didn't work hard and I didn't prepare my classes, and then at the end of the year they gave me a bad write-up and I walked into the principal's office and I said, "Oh, please, 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 please make it a better write-up." And if he looks at me and goes, "What are you kidding me? You were absent 42 days. I asked you to show me lesson plans. You never gave any lesson plans. Your kid said when you walked in class, all you did was sit there and read about the New York Jets every day. You do all of these different things. How do you expect me to help you? What do you expect me to do for you?" And what would I say? I go, "You're right. So therefore, I have to make sure I work hard every day." And you should also. And not only that, the magic is if you work hard, you tend to pass. So very rarely does a kid work hard and fail. So when I turn you loose on your homework in a couple of minutes, you certainly have enough time during class to either completely finish your homework or almost finish your homework. And then it's just little work at home, and then you're home free. So you really have no excuses. Okay. Taking a look at this one, I'm not going to draw buckets today. We drew buckets the last 2 days. I'm just going to look for my like terms, and I'm going to gather them up in my mental bucket, so to speak. What kind of 9A's are they? Positive. What kind of 7A's? What's positive 9A's and negative 7A's? 2A's, good. You know, here's negative 3B's and positive 2B's. That adds up to a negative B. So that's 2A minus B. And that should be, you should look at a question like that and go, I get it. We've done it for 3 days now. I understand. Next week we're going to do it some more with a little wrinkle thrown in. Over here, what kind of 8X's? Negative 5X's? So that's negative 3X, right? Because I would have 8 negatives and 3 positives, that 9, and maybe 5 negatives left over at the end. Now I have a positive 3 and a positive 8. That's positive 11. If somebody wrote this, would that be correct? Would this be correct? No, because here the 11's positive, and here the 11's positive, but what is the 11 here? Negative, so that cannot be correct. Okay, let's go to the next one. Hey, Annabella, head up.
Yep.
I have 3 A's and a negative A and negative 2A. So how many A's do I have altogether? 0. I have no A's. So for now, I'm not going to write it. Now, if I also have no B's and no C's, I'll just write a great big 0. Let's see here. I got a positive B and a positive 5B. So what's that? 6B. And I have a negative C and a negative 4C. So what is that? Negative 5C. Good. So 6B minus 5C is the correct answer. What if I wrote this? 5C minus 6B. Is that correct? No. What is the 5C here? Negative. What's the 5C here? Now go. Can't be. All right, so now we get to the last two, and it's the same exact theory. The only difference is now we're throwing some exponents into the ring. All right? So if I have 2x squareds and a positive x squared, what do I have? 3x squareds. Good. I have negative 4x and negative 7x, and that is? Negative 11x. And positive 5 and negative 9. Negative 4. Nice. Now, if you remember, I discussed this idea of standard polynomial order the other day. And we said we want to go squared. If it was cubed, cube would go first. The highest exponent first, then the next one down, next one down, next one down. And the reason we do that is because it gives us a certain sense of where to expect to find things. So here, if you notice, it goes x squared, they pair up. Then the x's pair up, and then the numbers pair up. So we kind of get a sense of where they belong. If you look at this one, there was an A and an A and another A, and it's kind of a little disjointed and out of order. So it's possible for a kid to miss an A there because it's not predictable. So standard polynomial order allows us to kind of predict and expect where we will likely find things. And when you're the one who sets up a problem, which you will be doing lots of over the next few years, if you set it up and you put things in standard order, you will not miss any, there'll be no missed expectations. All right, 3x cubed and negative 4x cubed, what is that?
Negative 1x cubed.
Negative x cubed, nice. Now, negative 4x squared and 3x squared, you see how that's different? The cubes were together, now the x squareds are apart, it's just awkward. What's negative 4x squared and 3x squared? Negative x squared. Now I have positive 5x's and negative 7x's, what's that?
Negative 2.
Negative 2x's, and last but not least, positive 3 and negative 7. Negative 4, and that's my answer. Negative x cubed minus x squared minus 2x minus 4. Any questions? Any at all? Okay, you guys can get cranking on your homework, do a super job with it, and then you are, tomorrow's pre-test day, Friday test day. Next week, we start up with the quizzes and same routine until the end.
How do you find range?
How do you find range? Range is outputs. So you plug the numbers in, and whatever the outputs are, you make a list of them, and that's your range. Okay? Remember, domain is inputs, range